Hey there, so in this video, I want to talk about why you should start your fitness journey despite having a physical setback or injury. Okay, so first off, this video is under no circumstance considered medical advice and should not be substituted as such. If you are dealing with pain, illness, or injury, anything that's basically holding you back from being able to move or anything that is an emergency, basically contact your doctor or a healthcare specialist right away. This video, however, is for the individual that had an injury in the past or currently is dealing with one, but is still physically capable and determined to leveling up their fitness. If your heart is pumping, if your brain is working, and you're able to carry out your day-to-day activities despite having some nagging pains here and there, then you'll need to listen up. Without going too much into detail, I myself used to be a victim of making my illness an excuse to work out. You see, up until the age of 17, I was playing almost every sport that you can think of. My favorites were kickboxing and rugby. I was good at both of them, but I especially loved kickboxing. I had done it for over 10 years up until that point. Despite being an active and healthy kid throughout my life and never having to go through any severe injuries or illnesses, there was just one day where I woke up in bed and I felt my lower back completely lock up, and I had no idea where it came from. The pain was super excruciating, to say the least. I had to start basically limping around everywhere that I went. It almost felt like somebody had taken a power drill and screwed a drill bit right into my lower back. Within the next month of feeling this pain, I had to quit kickboxing and rugby and basically any type of physical activity, which also included PE class. I had no idea where this pain came from, and eventually I started to fall into a deep hole of depression during my high school years. After visiting many doctors and doing a variety of tests to figure out what was going on with me, I eventually got referred to a specialist. And basically that specialist was called a rheumatologist. And what a rheumatologist does is they focus on autoimmune conditions such as rheumatoid arthritis. After the initial visit, the rheumatologist diagnosed me with ankylosing spondylitis. And yeah, I know that's a bit of a mouthful, but you can search it up for yourself. It's the real thing. Ankylosing spondylitis, or AS, is an autoimmune arthritis that causes inflammation in the spine, ribs, and in the pelvic region, specifically in the sacroiliac joint, which is where I have most of my inflammation. So if I get up, I can kind of show you basically right around here. And you'll notice a lot in the lower back as well. If ankylosing spondylitis is not treated, then what happens is that the small bones in the areas that I just mentioned, like in your spine, in your ribs, and the pelvic areas and the SI joint, they start to fuse together, which starts basically making it really, really hard to move, and it becomes more and more painful throughout time. And this was the beginning of my gym journey. So even though I was still in a lot of pain and on many days still limping around, I managed to get a gym membership beside my high school and basically started going almost every day. And I started stretching again, and for the first time I was actually lifting weights. I gained a ton of muscle just in that 1 year and basically started to gain control of my body again. Now, after a few visits to the rheumatologist, he did recommend that I go on medication, but I basically freaked out when I looked at all the negative side effects that came with it. So both me and my mom actually agreed that it would just be better to not go on any medication and just maintain it for just by ourselves. But after a year or so, the pain just got so bad that I started to become a lot more desperate for relief, because there is literally no other method that I knew at the time that was going to be able to work and provide me with that relief that I wanted. So eventually I did listen to my doctor, and I did get prescribed anti-inflammatory medication for my back, and lo and behold, the pain started to diminish. Not right away, but within a few months' time, I started to feel my body becoming a little bit normal again. So after a year of training really hard at the gym, I was still not really following any type of diet or nutrition plan. I was basically just relying on my mom's home-cooked meals, even though those were still very healthy. But once I started to research and diet, I realized that there were certain foods that I was eating day in and day out that were actually a detriment to my arthritis and were causing me to be a lot more inflamed than if I wasn't eating them. So all these new discoveries were a huge turning point for me, because even though I had found out that I had this so-called autoimmune condition that I could barely even pronounce, and you know, obviously I was able to get medication for it and lower the inflammation and make it less painful. That's not something that I could just rely on that, right? I had to figure out a way where I can have control of my body again, because I was missing the sports that I was doing, and I was missing being active, right? So finding, you know, the gym and finding different diets to try that were able to lower inflammation for me, that was a huge game changer. So just know that if you're in a situation where you've hit rock bottom, you've become depressed, you've hit a plateau, you don't know what to do anymore in regards to your fitness, just know that, you know, dialing down your nutrition, getting your physical training going again, and basically learning as much as you can about fitness from someone that's gone through similar things, it's gonna be a lot more valuable to you in the end than just sitting there and doing nothing about it. Those who have been practicing and preparing for hardship are gonna have a lot less struggle than the people that aren't really doing anything to prepare and just basically reacting as things come. With that being said, I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.